Okay, we're good. Loaded bases. Patrick Wisdom. How's it going?
Let's go. I love hitting with loaded bases. So it's going well, man. It's going really well. Thank you for having me, and I'm excited to chat with you.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, Patrick, tell me a little bit about like where you're from.
I grew up roughly 45 minutes north of San Diego, called Marietta, California. Um, it's a good location. It's obviously grown since I've been there, but I still got really good friends there. My family's still there, so we went back for Thanksgiving, and
Nice.
it's like I never left. You still know where you're at. You still know all the turns and the shortcuts. But I'm thankful for my time in Marietta.
For sure. So so when you're younger, did you ever think that you would be starting for the Chicago Cubs?
Oh, great question. I wouldn't say the Chicago Cubs like in general.
Yeah.
I kind of always envisioned myself playing Major League Baseball. Playing on TV of emulating the guys I watched.
Yeah.
Um, but to say, for the Chicago Cubs, I'll say no. But playing big league baseball, Major League Baseball, yes. Just something I kind of was dreamed of and visioned and always had that thought and that belief.
Yeah, because I mean, because like other guys that I've talked to, like they've said the same thing. It's just like you have that vision like from like when you're younger, like and like they manifested it, and that's like where they're at, and like that's awesome to see.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not like a boastful, thought or
Yeah,
arrogance. It was just kind of like a internal, like subconscious belief, and I just always saw myself doing it, and so I'm thankful for where I'm at, but there's a lot of work left to be done, and I want to keep going.
for sure. There's so okay, so out of high school you went to St. Mary's, and
Hmm.
then one of your rivals is Gonzaga, which is
Hmm.
I mean, which because Gonzaga is about 2 hours away from like where I'm at.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, because I'm located over in Yakima.
Oh,
So
okay, yeah, yeah. So Spokane's not too far then.
yeah, no, like so, how was it playing in that league?
I love the WCC. We had
Yeah,
some really good competition. When I was there, I played against Chris Bryant. I played against Marco Gonzalez. Those are kind of two standout names. They were WCC players of the year when I
mhm,
was there. You had Kyle Zimmer, who was like a top 5 pick, and there's a ton of names that are in that league,
yeah,
and
for sure.
it's a sneaky good league, I'd say. You got Pepperdine, USD. San Francisco's always good. Gonzaga's always good, and St. Mary's is putting out a lot of good players. You got Corbin Burns, Tony
Mhm,
Gonsolin, amongst other players, and so Kyle Bearclaw, another one
mhm.
who's been a dominant reliever in the game. So it's putting out good players, and I'm proud to rep the WCC.
So so coming out of St. Mary's, how was your draft experience? So how did that whole thing go down?
Yeah, it was a whirlwind to say the least. I came in as a freshman, did really well, and then uh, came in sophomore year, and then had an incredible year, and kind of put myself on the map. We also had another player who was getting looked at by scouts as well, and so he was a little older than me, and I think that also helped me get kind of on the map and get in front of those eyes. And then went to summer ball in Alaska and had a great year too. Not only on the field but off the field. It's a
Yeah.
tremendous collegiate summer league. Highly recommend it to whoever's listening out there. It's one of the best times I've had. But yeah, so then I started getting all these letters and from different teams and scouts calling me and text messages, and so my coaches did a good job of kind of filtering that in a way,
Mhm,
just kind of not letting it bombard me, but like setting up schedules to meet with the scouts or take a phone call with them, and so they were able to kind of facilitate that a little bit. And my advisor, who's my agent at the time, Adam Karen, also did a really good job of filtering that and kind of allowing it to not like overwhelm me. And as
Mhm.
much as I wanted to say like, "Oh yeah, I'm cool. Like it's not bothering me. It's not bothering me. I'm cool. This is awesome. All this
Yeah,
attention and all these questionnaires." Um, but it did become a little overwhelming because you go out there junior year and you're like, "Wow, I got all this. All these names, all these letters.
yeah.
I need to go out there and like prove to it." But so that kind of like messed with me a little bit, and then struggled. And then towards the end of the season, I just said, like, forget it. Whatever happens, happens. If I get
Yeah.
drafted, great. If I don't, that's great too, because all my homies are at this college and I'll be able to graduate. And so then I just kind of freed my mind and relaxed, and then had a good end of the year. And then, I think my draft stock fell a little bit. I mean, granted, I went on the first day, which I'm super thankful for.
I'd say
Um,
that's pretty awesome, I mean, alone.
yeah, I mean, I can't. There's no complaints really. So, just watching the draft because, playing against a lot of these guys in Alaska and then
Mhm.
during the collegiate season, just watching them all get drafted, I was like, wow, that's so cool, seeing your buddies get drafted. And then my advisor called like 2 picks before the Cardinals had the 52nd pick. So it was like the
Mhm.
50th pick. And he's like, hey, are you willing to sign? I was like, absolutely. And he's like, okay, I think the Cardinals are going to take you. And so I was like, all right, cool. So we're watching it. And sure enough, they came up and on the TV and they're like, with the 52nd pick, Patrick Wisdom. I was like, what? My family were there, and
Yeah,
I had a really good friend at the house too. And so, we just all kind of went nuts, and
yeah.
it was a cool experience to say the least.
I bet on that one. I think, like, just, like, to see, like, your name, like, on that TV just alone, like, that would be
Yeah, like on
unreal.
MLB Network and everything. I was like, what?
Exactly.
And they show like some highlights. I'm like, where the
Yeah,
heck did they get this footage?
yeah.
And then
That's
you
like
have
'cause
like Harold Reynolds talking about you, and I was like, wow, I was taken back. It was a cool experience.
I bet there's and then, like, to go back on your point to, like, the summer league up in Alaska, we had so in college, we had a guy, he was from Alaska, then he was a pitcher,
Uh-huh.
and then, I I mean, because like, you never really hear, like, ball players coming out of Alaska,
Yeah,
and then he was saying that, like, the league and, like, so he was saying, like, the leagues up there were ridiculous, and
yeah.
it was unbelievable.
Um, yeah, I mean, ridiculous in terms of competition, super
Yeah,
good. But then you're also traveling like, up to Fairbanks,
yeah,
Alaska, which is super far north, and you're like, where are we?
yeah,
And you're playing on this like field that's turf, but they got plywood underneath the turf. So like when you hit a ground ball or everything and run, it's like duh, 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 it's kind of strange. But one of the best experiences I've had to see Alaska like that was incredible. And fishing in the river, you're standing in
yeah.
the Kenai River fishing, and you can see a bear down the river, and you're like, geez, this is nature. Like this is pretty cool.
I think that that'd be, like that'd be fun to go play, like, in a whole bunch of, like, random different places.
Yeah, for sure. And I got to meet some super cool people. We had a bear delay, which I mean, like a bear delay,
Yeah,
because there was like a family of bears, right behind the outfield fence, and so
mhm,
they delayed it for like an hour so the bears could kind of get on their way. But you had moose like coming through our
yeah,
host family's house. They're like right outside the window, and you're like, oh my gosh, like these are massive animals. So to see it like that was pretty special.
and say, like, we don't have that over in Yakima, but, like, my junior year of high school, like, for summer ball, we had a, deer delay, like, a deer, like, hopped on the field and was running around, and no one can get him off, and
Wow, I
it
mean,
was the
that's
craziest thing that
crazy.
we've
I mean, yeah,
seen,
you
yeah,
see, like, all the ones, on TV, like the squirrels or the
yeah,
cats, raccoons, whatever. A deer, though, that'd be pretty epic.
yeah, I mean, I'll never forget having, like, a deer delay.
That's wild.
I mean, and then, like, to go to the point of, like, you playing, like, all over, how
Mhm.
was so you played in 866 minor league games.
Did I?
You did,
Dang.
yeah. So, over the 9, 10 years in the minors, how was that experience? Because so I'm a big, like, advocate, like, for minor leaguers, and, I've heard some
Mhm.
crazy stories, like, from I like I'd say, like, from the guys down there. So how was your experience, like, in the minor leagues?
Yeah. Yeah, kind of along the same boat. I think we all kind of have a general theme and perspective on the minor leagues and
Yeah.
how it went for everybody. Um, my first experience, I flew into Batavia, New York. I'd never heard of Batavia, New York.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, it's in between Buffalo and Rochester,
Okay.
which yeah, small little town. But I get there, get to the hotel. It's like a Super 8, like nothing fancy by any means. And
Mhm.
then the next day, they're like, "All right, here you go. Here's your host family. Like you're here, you're there." I'm like, "Okay." Like I don't even know where I'm going. I'm living with 5 other dudes in a basement, and this lady's like 75 years old, and we're living in the basement, and then like within the first week, huge rainstorm comes, the basement floods. We got like 6 inches of water.
Oh, no
Like
shit.
things are like floating, on the on the
Yeah.
ground. We're like, so we're like going into the fire escape to like bail the water out, like where it's coming in. And yeah, it's just like hectic stuff like that. And I mean, you're paying $70 a week while you're
Yeah.
home. So road trips, you're not paying anything, which is nice. Like I'll take $70 a week for rent. Like
Oh,
that's
for
cool.
sure.
Um, but then we go to play in Jamestown, which is a commuter. I don't even think it's in the league anymore. But I mean, this place looked kind of out of a horror film, and no offense to people that are from Jamestown. Um, but you get there, and you had to be like one of the first 5 in the shower. Otherwise, you're gonna be standing in like calf deep water of like other guys that have showered.
Oh,
It's
that is
not fun. It's
bad.
not pleasant.
That's bad.
Yeah. So you were like, "Oh, game's over. I'm hurrying up and showering, like and getting out of there." Then we went to Clinton, Iowa, which is low A. Clinton, Iowa. Um, our coach, he wouldn't even let us shower and change at the field because the locker room was that bad. He was like, "This is
Mhm.
literally like out of a scene of like think of a horror film, like Saw or like Hostel or something. Just like grimy, rusty, just
That's
dirty.
so
Like he wouldn't
bad.
even let us bring food in there. Like, all right, we're taking like all the food for the game. We're putting it outside on a table, and then we're changing and showering at the hotel. So just bear with it, guys. Stuff like that. And
Yeah.
it's just yeah, you get the long bus rides, the fun times playing cards, on the bus and listening to music or telling stories. And you always have like those couple guys on the team that are just super funny and
Yeah.
very good storytellers. And so they got the whole bus cracking up and everybody sitting around them to hear the next story. But yeah, I mean, I think the minor leagues definitely have changed. They obviously get better as you climb the rank.
Mhm.
AAA stadiums obviously are really nice, but the cities are cool. They're not huge cities, but they're big cities. They got a lot going on.
Yeah.
So like I said, like as you climb the ranks, it gets better. The
Mhm.
living situations are better. The pay is better. And you're just around older guys, and it just gets better for sure.
Say
But
and then
a little
yeah.
caveat, getting to the big leagues and playing big leagues makes it all worth it, I think.
Oh, I bet. Yeah,
In
100%.
my shoes, I think it makes it way worth it and worth it. And you learn a lot. You learn so much
Oh, I bet.
on the field, but also off the field. So when you get there, you're kind of like already ready to go and you already have your routine and you know what to do both on and off the field. So I think it's definitely worth it.
Say and then because you get the call to go up,
Mhm.
and what were the emotions that you were feeling, like, when you found out that you're going?
They kind of ran the whole gambit. I was shocked, surprised because, like in a way, like, oh, like I thought they would call up other people, ahead of me, or
Mhm.
it's just like I just didn't think I was next in line to go up, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Not like, oh wait, like I can play in the big leagues. I thought other people would go up, but yeah, and then like sad and happy and excited, nervous, anxious. Like I didn't even sleep because our game went like it got delayed, then extra innings. We were in OKC, and so by the time I called everybody, packed my stuff, like waited for
Mhm.
the laundry to get done, got to the hotel, and then they're like, "Yeah, you got a 4 a.m. like car service to the airport." I was like, "Well, it's 2:30 in the morning. Like I had
Yeah.
a I don't think I'm gonna sleep at all because I'm sitting there like thinking about all these things and but yeah, it was super cool and one of my favorite coaches that I've had, Stubby Clapp, he's the first base coach for the Cardinals right now.
Mhm.
He was my manager at the time, and so a little like story of how it went down. I got hit by a pitch in the calf, and he called me in after, and he closed the door. One of the pitching coaches, he took like a video from his desk, like
Yeah.
incognito. I didn't even recognize it. So you see him like close the door, and then I sit down. I'm in like my sliding shorts and like cut off
Yeah.
shirt. I got ice on my calf, and I didn't think of it at the time. It was weird that he made me close the door. He closed the door. Sit down. He's like, "All right, you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm cool. Why?" Like, he's like, "Are you sure you're not gonna need a day off tomorrow?" I'm like, "No, like I'm good. Like, this is nothing. It's just the ice is, precautionary. The trainers got trying to get it on me. Blah blah blah." He's like, "Okay, okay." He's like, "Are you sure? You sure you don't need a day off?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." I started getting like kind of upset, like angry. I'm like, "Yo, I'm cool."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay, good, because you're gonna go up to meet the big leagues or meet the big team in Kansas City." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, congratulations, you got called up, or you're gonna make your debut." I was like, "What?" And like, it kind of just like everyone just like went silent, and I was like taking it all in. And then he could kind of tell me getting like a little emotional, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh man!" Like, so I got up and gave him a hug, and they all said congrats, whatever. And then I walk out of the coach's office, and we had some older guys that knew like, all right, this like they closed the door, they brought him in,
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. And so I walked out, and everyone's like, "Rah!" like throwing water on me and like hooting and hollering. So it was
That's
pretty
badass.
special. Yeah, I remember like it was yesterday. It was crazy. It was awesome.
So yeah, it that would be unreal feeling.
Yeah, it truly was. And it like every time you get the call to go back up,
Mhm.
it's always special. And because again in 19, I was with Texas, and started the year in AAA. And when they told me like I was going up, I was like, "What?" And it's like kind of the same emotions again. You're
Yeah.
like, "Wow, like this is awesome!" And yeah, it's always special.
Say, cause so in 2000, uh, in 2021,
Mhm,
so, my girlfriend actually bought us tickets to go to a Cubs game, and it was on, May 31st, and that was when you came up,
mhm.
and so we were sitting in the bleachers, and then you hit 1 home run, and then, like, everyone's like, "Who's Patrick Wisdom?" And then he hit another home run, like, the same day, and then they're like, "No shit, like, who is this guy?" And then so you went on, like, your tear, like, for your, like, 8 home runs and, like, 36, like, plate appearances.
Uh-huh.
So how so how was coming up, with the Cubs and then just raking, like,
Yeah.
absolutely
It was
mashing the
fun,
ball?
man. Yeah, thanks for saying that. It was cool. Must have been up against the Padres, I
Yep,
think.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it was pretty special. So 2021, we go to the alt site. We had an incredible group at the alt site. It was a lot of fun.
mhm,
We head to Iowa to start the season. My wife's pregnant. She's about to give birth. So, I'm kind of playing that game like, "Hey, how you doing?" Like,
yeah,
I'm like, "Do I need to jump on a flight?" And so she was like, yeah, like I think it's pretty close. You should probably come home." So getting from Iowa to Seattle is not like the easiest thing. Like there's
oh,
a
yeah,
lot
no,
I had to take like a connecting flight, all this jazz. So I let the AAA manager Marty Peavy know like the situation. He's like, "Whatever you need, like whenever you tell me, like you're gone." I was like, "All right, cool." Said, "Hey, I think I gotta go." He's like, "All right, we'll see you later. Like just let us know when you need to come back." I'm like, "Okay." So I went home. We had our baby girl, everything smooth, happy, and
good,
then I go back to Iowa, meet the team in St. Paul. They like slow play me getting back. Like, all right, today you're gonna do like just BP. The next day you're gonna like run the bases. The next day, and I was like, "Hey, I just want to play now. Like,
yeah,
I can finally play. Like, let's go." So I play. We go home. We have an off day, and I'm out golfing with a buddy, and leave my phone in the cart. Obviously, like
yep,
not walking around with it. Come back and I get two missed calls from PV. I was like, so I call him back. I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" He's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm playing golf. What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, good. Well, I think you should get back to the field and pack your shit because you're gonna go to Chicago." And I was like, "Wait, really?" And he was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, snap." So I was like, "Dang, okay, well, I can't fly out till tomorrow morning anyway." So we just finished our round of golf uh, and then went home and packed and left and met the team in Pittsburgh. And I don't think I played the first day. Maybe I had a pinch hit. But then the second day I started and they're like, "Hey, you play outfield?" And I'm like, yeah, I do." Like, "Okay, you're gonna go play right." And I'm like, "Okay, like, sure, let's do it." And yeah, then it just kind of had a really fun time that whole season. And I feel like I fit in right away with all those guys. And
Mhm.
um, you know, went on the homer streak, and which was a lot of fun. That was super cool. But a lot of people were like giving me flack because they're like, "Dang, why don't you hit a homer when someone's on base?" Because they had like 7 home runs and like 11 RBIs, like
Yeah.
a lot of solo shots. But no, man, it was super fun. What a cool year. What a special year. An unorthodox year in terms of like I got called up and played with, all the names that you think of with the Cubs, the
Yep.
Rizos, Bryants, Javi, all that, and then they get all traded away. And so kind of like see that turn in the organization was unique. But I was super excited because I was still playing every day. They were rolling me
Yep.
out there. And I just the Cubs are a great organization, and I love my time in Chicago. It's been great, and I look forward to many more W's for sure.
And say because I for sure love that you're up there.
Yeah,
It's
thank you.
it is always fun to watch you play.
Yeah,
Uh,
I love playing there. I mean, the fans and the atmosphere there just make it that much more special to play.
oh, I bet and say because my grandma used to live in Chicago, and that's why it's why I'm a Cubs fan.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, so I'm a fourth generation Cubs fan.
Oh, see, that's awesome. I love like the generational fans. So cool.
Yeah, I have. I mean, I had no choice of being like any other fan.
Yeah.
So no, so it's just awesome to see like I with the group of guys out there and just having fun winning games.
Yeah.
But so enough about baseball.
Mm,
So I talked to Succession Winery
mhm.
and they sent some wine
Yeah.
that you were a part of. So tell me about that.
Yeah, so I got to meet Brock and Erica. They own Succession Wines in Chelan, Washington. Well, it's actually in Manson, but
Yep.
it's right there
Same.
on the lake.
Yeah.
Got to meet them, and just kind of chit chatting. And I just expressed that how I was very fond of like behind the scenes of the wine, and like how it
Mhm.
comes into the person's glass and how they enjoy it, and the steps behind that. I found it super fascinating. And he was just like, "Yeah, like anytime you want to come learn and watch what we do or work alongside us, like you're more than welcome. Like here's my number, blah blah blah." I'm like, "Cool, like that's awesome. Like thanks." And I didn't think much of it. And then my wife, like when we got back home, like the next week, she was like, "Hey, you gonna call that guy?" I'm like, "No, like he probably, it's no big deal, like just being nice." And she was like, "No, I think he was serious. Like, give him a call." I was like, "Okay." So I called him, and he was like, "Yeah, when do you want to come out? You want to come out tomorrow? Like, whatever, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "How about like next week?" And he was like, "Perfect." And so I caught it like right at harvest. So there's
Mhm.
a lot going on, a lot to learn. And then they got me in the enology program, which is the study of winemaking
Mhm.
at WSU. So I'll finish up here this week with that. It's been an 18-month program, but I try to get over there as much as I can. They've been super great over there. Everybody over there is amazing. Devin and Evan, I've worked alongside with and learned a lot from, and Brock and his family are just such great people. And that's what kind of draws me to it is just the people within the industry have been fantastic. And I just it's really fun to learn too,
Yeah.
obviously. So yeah, the wine that you're drinking, I think it's the Oscar,
Yep.
right? If I'm
Yep.
not,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So it has some foot stomped Merlot, I believe. It might say it on the bottle.
Oh,
Um, yeah, it might say it on the back.
there it is.
Yeah, nice.
Um,
Does it have the percentages?
uh, 100% Merlot.
Yeah, so of that Merlot, there's a little bit that's foot stomped.
Okay.
And we cleaned the boots. Don't worry, we sanitized it all. Like I wore boots. I'm not like barefoot. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Like took a video of it and stuff. It was pretty fun. And then yeah, we blended it all together and did some tasting trials to get it right. And um yeah, so like stuff like that. Like I say I have a part in it, but like they
Yeah.
all did the work. I did all like the manual labor, like run around the grape for half an hour, and I was sweating and man, it was a good workout, but just to have a little part in that stuff and kind of see it come in on the truck, in the bins, their grapes and the berries and then see it, go into the barrel and then come out of the barrel and you're tasting it. It's pretty special for sure.
Yeah, it's I love the process of making, like, wine and beer.
Yeah.
I mean, let's say because over in Yakima, I believe our valley is 80% of the nation's hops,
Oh, right. Yeah.
and
Which
that
is
comes out.
crazy. Like, cause think
Yeah,
about all the beer like in the country
yeah,
and like the craft beer, right?
yeah.
And then to like supply all the hops just from like one area. That's
It
incredible.
it blows my mind,
Yeah.
and then, like, and then because there's probably I don't know how many breweries, like, we have over here, but there's a ton, and
So many.
on top of that, you have tons of different wineries, and it's just, like and then, like, being, like, from over here, it's pretty amazing to see, I mean, the process of everything, like, how it's made.
Yeah. It's an art form and I find it fascinating and people come together around it, whether it be, beer, like, hey, let's all grab a beer
Yeah.
or hey, you guys want to go wine tasting or hey, you guys want to try this bottle? There's a story behind it and I love that about it. So what are your favorite beers?
So I started getting in so as of, like, a few years ago, I didn't really enjoy IPAs
Okay.
because I guess, like, I didn't give them a chance.
Hmm.
But then I started to try, like, different IPAs.
Yeah.
So I have definitely fell in love with, like, hazy IPAs.
Oh yeah.
Those are
I enjoy
definitely my
hazy
favorite.
every now and then.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, beer like really fills me up.
yeah,
And I typically stick to the more like barrel aged, darker stouts,
yeah.
style beers. I'll try I'll try them all because I enjoy trying new things. Like I'm big
Mhm,
like get a flight and try different things like, ooh, don't really like that or love these, like,
yeah.
so I like the experience that it provides and that's awesome.
Have have you ever tried, a Irish Death?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so on my 21st birthday, that's all I drank, and I think and then that night didn't really turn out well, but,
Did you wake up feeling like death?
oh, it was bad, man. I threw up that night so much. It was so
Never
bad,
fun, never fun.
and then after that, I don't think I've tried, like, a dark beer since.
Oh, yeah, kinda turns you off, yeah, I can see that.
But then, I mean going back, like, to IPAs, like, it was tough to, like, understand, I guess, like, the different flavors in them.
Mhm.
But then, like, once you understand, like, how the process is made and then that whole shebang, like, it makes the beer better.
Yeah, for
And s
sure, and
and
that's what I've learned too. My brother he worked at a brewery and super into the beer thing, knew, like, what hops made what flavor and,
Mhm.
like, "Oh, like, this beer's got these hops, like, it's gonna do this, and it's gonna taste like that," and I'm like, "Oh, cool," and then so I drank it, I'm like, "Whoa, you're right, like, that's really cool." So like you, I really found, like, a more an appreciation with the beer, like I
Yeah,
do with the wine, like, "Oh, okay, like, I'm supposed to get these notes and that," and, uh
yeah,
so yeah, but like I'm not a huge beer drinker, but when it comes to that, like I like the story behind it. Or, like give me some info so I can taste it instead of just like slamming a beer back and you're like, oh, that was cool, you know?
yeah. See, and then, like, with wine, like, I've probably drank wine probably, like, 10 times in my life.
So is
But
this number 11?
this is probably number 11.
All right. How is it so far? You like it?
I like it for sure. I
Nice.
mean I'm probably gonna for sure gonna finish the bottle, but probably not tonight.
Oh yeah, tonight. There you go. I respect that. I mean, yeah, like that's what I
I'm
do too. I'll maybe have a glass and then have it the next day. So yeah, or my wife and I, we always love to drink wine, just to enjoy it, and appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, because I just bought a, wine stopper
Oh, nice. There
so
you
I can
go.
save it. Yeah. No,
Perfect.
No, I'm for sure excited about the whole winemaking thing that you did.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, it's truly impressive.
Yeah, thanks. You know, I find like just a hobby and
Yeah.
something outside of baseball and something different. Yeah, so like I have to thank Succession because they've introduced me a ton of people and
Mhm.
different wineries, different people, and they're just willing to help and give as much info as they can give or as that I want. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, because 'cause I'm gonna for sure gonna have to go up there because so I went to, college up in at, Wenatchee Valley.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I was yeah, 'cause I played baseball up there, so I'm gonna have to go up
right
to,
on.
Manson, go check them out.
Yeah, for sure. It's not that far from Wenatchee. Like
Oh,
you're
yeah,
just
no.
right up. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, because we'll pop right over Stevens Pass
Yep.
into Wenatchee, and then I just cruise on up to Lake Chelan.
So, yeah, that's a beautiful drive over there.
Yeah, it really is. The this time of the year, I definitely have to check the
Oh,
weather for
yeah.
the pass. Sometimes it's been a little hairy, but for the most part, I'd pick and choose the good times.
Yeah, it's been snowing quite a bit. That's
You guys got a lot of snow over there in Yakima? Does it
yeah, we
snow
get
much over there?
yeah, oh, yeah. So on Friday night, it snowed like 8 inches.
What?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, so Saturday was a whole bunch of plowing
Sh-
snow and shoveling.
Shoveling, yeah. Dang, that's wild.
Yeah, cause
But at least you guys know kinda how to handle the snow, right?
oh,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
it's not shutting down the whole city,
And say the
or
people
does
on
it?
the no, no way. And say because people on the west side, like, when it snows over there, it gets everything shuts down.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know.
Well, yeah, yeah, like, so people, like, when they think of I mean, I guess, like, anywhere in Washington State, like, they don't think of, like, the east side of the state, how it's just dry and, like, farmlands, and
Yeah.
they just think it's all like Seattle.
Right, yeah, like, "Oh, Seattle, that's the whole state," and you're like, "Actually,
Yeah.
no, it's just, like, a small part of the state."
Yeah, there was a so I watched one of the, videos that the Cubs put on you. It was of, like, your home life,
Mhm,
and and there was a part where, you were hiking. Where
mhm.
w where'd you go hiking at?
That was at Rattlesnake Ledge, in
Okay.
Snoqualmie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know
it was
exactly where
beautiful.
that's at.
Yeah. We caught it, like it was kinda rainy that whole trip, but we caught it, just right, and we were able to get, like, a break of the rain when we got to the top. Just made the little sunset that we could see,
Yeah.
but yeah, the crew loved it, and it made worth like, hauling up all that camera gear and stuff, worth it. They still talk about it. When I see them, in Chicago and stuff around the clubhouse, they're like, "Man, that was so fun," like that, but it just won an Emmy too, like that I think
Yeah,
that series
I
won an
saw
Emmy.
that.
Um, Happy to be a little part of that too, and, yeah, it was cool to kinda showcase the home life and, what we do in the off season.
So, yeah, because so how do you manage, baseball and being a dad? How was that?
I'm still learning how to do that,
Yeah.
yeah, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's,
Mm,
awesome. I think, being a dad to, my 2 girls definitely surpasses, hitting a homer at Wrigley. It's definitely hitting a homer is definitely a close second, but being a dad, coming home to those girls and seeing the smiles and laying on the floor and having playing around and them jumping on me and reading them books at night. It's hard to beat, and I love every minute of it. It's a lot. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely a lot, and I'm not saying like I'm the best at it or I got it all figured out, and still learning every day. And my wife is a super mom and MVP of the family for sure. She keeps us all straight and narrow and where
yeah,
we need to be and what we need to do. And she shepherds those girls all the time. When I'm gone, and so hats off to her. It's a lot of work, and she makes it look super easy.
that's awesome, for
Yeah,
sure. I'd
couldn't do
say
it without her for sure. She definitely makes going out there easier in terms of like I know that she's got it taken care of, and gives me peace of mind when I leave for the field.
that it's, it so, like, so we had a son, almost 4 months ago. And
Congratulations.
thank you.
That's
And
awesome.
and it's the most absolute like, my favorite thing.
Yeah.
I love being a dad.
It's isn't it awesome, man? It's like the coolest thing. I guess you don't really know until like the baby arrives and then you see it and you're like holding
Oh,
it like, oh my gosh, or like falls asleep on you and you're
yep.
like, man, this like people can tell me all about it, but until you experience it, you're like, gee, this is amazing. There's nothing like it.
And say, like, I think, like, the second that he was born, like, I was bawling my eyes out.
Oh yeah, me too.
And and then because there was, like, so much happening, like, in the room, and then I just look, and then there was a, nurse just, like, watching me, and
Uh,
I'm just crying, okay, and then she's crying too, and it's just, like, it's the most utmost amazing feeling in the world.
for sure, it's like the best life experience. Like I think anyone can go through is like seeing a lot, a child come into this world, especially your own child.
Oh, yeah,
Man.
and say, "Are your girls gonna be, your, hiking buddies here soon?"
Yeah, so we try to get out as much as we can, outdoors. We love going on walks or finding a trail. And then when they get a little older, I think hiking will become popular.
Mhm.
Doing up the hill trails. Right now we stick to kind of like some flat terrain,
Yeah.
just because they're so little and um, you know it gets hard, carrying them on the backpack after a while. You're like, all right, you girls need to walk for a little bit. um, but yeah, they love being outside. They want to get outside as when they're awake. They just want to be outside and ride their bikes or scooters or whatever it may be. So yeah, they're definitely going to be some hiking buddies.
Oh, yeah. I love that. So, I have one more question for you. So, if what would be the biggest thing that you have learned in life?
Ooh, good question. I thought you were going to say like baseball, but
Oh,
life.
no, no, I wanna know more
Yeah,
than
yeah,
baseball.
life. I think the biggest thing so far in life, I think, is perspective. And what I mean by that is kind of how you view not only what happens to you, but like things that unfold in front of you, kind of where you're at in terms of, your career or your
Mm,
life or relationships, kind of how you view where you're at. I think that really plays a pivotal role in your happiness and or your sadness, right? Your moods. I think it plays an important role in your successes or your failures. And I really think it just drives your life. Like if you have a really good perspective on things or you're very understanding of what is happening to you or what you're capable of or even controlling your reactions, I think that you'll come out on top, whether you know that or not. Like whether
mm,
you think that, wow, I got through that, or man, I didn't get through that, but ultimately you did. It's just kind of how you think of it and how you shape those thoughts. I'm still learning how to do this. It's just reading a lot of books, listening to people talk.
yeah,
Um, I think understanding too that you don't have it all figured out, but if you can understand that and like just take things as they come and as they are and see the world for as it is, I think you will have more peace of mind, right? You're not going
mhm,
to get caught up in all the riffraff or the drama and the kind of the ping pong effect of happy sad.
yep,
You just kind of float, not float through life, but like you flow through it, right? You have like a peace of mind and you ultimately, like I said in that kind of that video, like just the flow, like you just want to be in that flow state as much as possible. And I know I just kind of went on a tangent, but
that's
ultimately,
totally
I think
okay.
perspective is, I think, everything because you're able to react in a certain way and just see things through a different lens.
I love it. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was kind of all over the map, but yeah, all in all, I think perspective.
Well, I love it. Well, Patrick, thank you so much. It's been fun.
Yeah, Mason, thank you so much. This was super cool. Thank you for reaching out. thanks for setting this up.
Yeah.
Happy to be on Loaded Bases podcast. I love hitting with bases loaded too, so that's pretty cool.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you and have a great night.
Yeah, enjoy the wine, and we'll talk soon.
That sounds good.
See you, Mason.
Later.